Hi, good morning, everyone. We are live, and I'm here and happy to announce that very quickly between Jamila and Petrina, I found my sixth champion, who I found long time back when I announced this movement, and she was the first one in my mom's group to start leading it by, taking her self portrait. And I think one second, I think there's an echo coming because of my Facebook on. Right. Sorry, I'm still getting used to all the tech, so sorry. There was an echo coming. So Petrina was the first person, and when I was talking about self-portrait movement in my mom's group, and suddenly I see her picture one morning, and she's already obviously a photographer as well, and she's a health coach and is a business coach. But when I saw her picture, I was like, my God, this movement is becoming real because she just started shining in that picture. And then she inspired so many other mothers to one after the other start sending. So she led it. And that's why she had to be definitely one of my champions for many other reasons as well. Not only that she led this, but she embraced self portrait so easily, and not only easily but also like just shining in it. So welcome, Petrina. I'm so happy to um, have you as my sixth champion. Sorry for my voice. Already I was telling Petrina I'm losing it within the sixth champion and talking between all the mothers and what's happening. So I'm really sorry if you have to hear this voice. Petrina, please introduce yourself. What do you do? And please tell me how your mother's journey has been. And I know I asked this very simple question that people think mother's journey, why does she keep asking? But for every mother, it's a different journey, what it means, what it has been. And you're a grandmom as well now. So you have your little grandchildren. So how is it, your journey been and now being a grandmom? And let's just move forward from there and then I'll go to the next step.
Sure. My name is Petrina Harris, and I live in Lincoln, Arkansas, in the United States. And I'm a health coach and a business coach. I'm a photographer. I'm a notary. I do lots of different things. But my mother's journey, I had two children of my own. And when my husband and I met, he had three children. And they were very small at the time. They were 2, 3, 5, 7, and 11. And so they basically grew up, together. And our blended family, it's grown into a very large family now. Of course, now we have grandchildren. But over the years of growing, everybody growing together and being a mom in that, it's a lot of work. And you focus on everyone else but yourself. And over time, you just kind of, fall into that position of taking care of everybody else. Right. And I never really learned the fact of I need to take care of myself and fill my cup so that I can take care of everybody else. Right. I just pushed and pushed and pushed to take care of everyone else and kind of put myself on the back burner. And so that's where my health started to decline. And then I didn't really think of that while taking care of my own children. And now I'm healthy enough to play with my grandchildren, and that's absolutely amazing. But definitely, going through this movement of taking a picture of yourself, I can tell you, my children do not have a lot of pictures of me with them. My grandkids are going to have a ton because of you. But my kids don't have a lot of pictures with me because I was a photographer, so I could stay behind the camera.
Right.
And I didn't ever put myself out there because I felt like my hair wasn't perfect, or, I was too overweight, or whatever the reason was. Most of it was that I was overweight, and I did not want my kids to see me like that later down the road. What I didn't realize is that my kids don't care how I look if I'm not there. That picture is so important to them. Right. And so now I get to pass that, now I get to realize that with my grandkids and my older children, now that they're older, of course, I always grab them now and do selfies with them now that they're older. And I know that they'll cherish that as well. But definitely growing with all the kids growing up, I did not take the time to be present and to take photos with them and me be in the photo with them. I was always taking photos of them. And so now that they're all grown and they're starting to have kids of their own, I definitely 100% have passed this, what you have started. Shika, it's so important. And I pass that on to them, that they really need to be present in photos with their family.
Right. And what's happening, Petrina, now is that I'm getting messages from even men. Like, it's like, yes, I'm going on and on about moms and everything. Some of them have opened their albums, right? And they're finding that they don't have pictures of their moms. And some of them have lost their moms. And what a loss, that they can't like reach out to her image because she's missing from. And this is another common thing I'm seeing, that there are photographers also, like we being photographers, including me. uh, Actually, I'm very happy that I've, like, my older one is just about 8 years old and younger one is turning 2, that I've realized that. And thanks to the self-portrait movement that I have to lead it, I'm constantly taking my pictures and I'm putting this out because, one, they are very happy posing with me. They're jumping on me. They're doing however, whatever I'm looking like. And generally I find that after 4 days I actually don't mind that picture so much as I mind it when I'm trying to take it. Like this whole thing, oh my god, there's a picture, look at me, look at my hair, look at my face. And I'm glad that we started this because a lot of young moms can actually get inspired by these 100 moms and say that show up, because just grabbing that moment with your mom when they're not around, that whole feeling is something that's such a big miss. And it happened to me because for my interview recently with Kavita, I was she told me there was another interview she did for my dad, and because my dad was so important to me, and he was always behind the camera, like his hobby was photography, and that's how probably it passed on to me. But I had, like, I kept on calling everybody. I said, is there one picture of me and him? Like he's like my soulmate, like he's like everything to me. And just for my interview, when I was going on and on about him, and there was this whole 10-minute piece on him, can you imagine? I had not a single picture I could grab. People went into their albums, my cousins went, they're like, and I had this one very strange, in some event, some picture, one of the ceremonies I have, and in that also I'm crying, and that's it. And he was totally missing, in spite of being a person who was with camera, and we had a big joint family, and he was all the time taking pictures. And I wonder why he was like just missing and never showed up. And now he's 73, and I do feel that, like, I can't tell you, there's a feeling that I wish I had some pictures of him and I can just put it up right there, of me growing up and showing it to my children, that your grandfather was like this, because he was a very hugging, very affectionate kind of a man. But I can't show it to them. Of course, with stories I tell them, but it's a nice thing to have your pictures, and I totally relate to what you're saying. So Petrina, you've joined this movement, and you just said what you felt about joining this. But you've also talked about two very important events that you did in your past. Please talk about those events, and also, what do you think and where do you think this can go? Because through this interview, the message will go to your people, to other people who can connect to the fact that it's just not about taking photos. It's about showing up and dropping that resistance sister that I always talk into my Zoom sessions. So just go ahead and talk about what you feel with this whole movement that we've joined and started.
Sure. So, of course, this movement has been amazing enough to lift people up and to realize the self-confidence that they do have inside of them. It's just making them, pull that out. Another thing that I've done was the Brave and Beautiful shoot that I did with some ladies. What I did was I sent out, I asked for applications from all walks of ladies, any age, race, it doesn't matter who you are. I want to see you all send in an application. And I got so many applications, and reading through these applications, was just heart wrenching, because I wanted to do a photo shoot for every single one, because what each person who got a spot in this Brave and Beautiful photo shoot would get a makeover and a dress, and they would get to be a part of this Brave and Beautiful movement that I was doing, because I wanted to give these ladies some confidence. And, you know, I was reading these applications of girls that were very depressed and really struggling with their self-confidence. And I literally, I just wanted to do a photo shoot for them all. I picked
Right.
5 ladies and we did this photo shoot. And, you know, some of them did little clips, video clips for me to tell me how amazing this experience was for them. And it made me want to do more. I did a photo shoot. I took 18 veterans, local veterans in Kern County where I used to live. And I created an 18-month calendar. Within a month, I had it shot, I had it put together, their whole bio and everything on this 18-month calendar. And I sold it. And every single calendar I sold, I put 100% of the proceeds back into the, it's called the Honor Flight. So these local veterans got to go to Washington, D.C. and see the memorials. It's a 72-hour trip that they go and see all of the memorials. World War II veterans.
Wow.
I mean, just, yeah, and it's an amazing thing. And I got to send 3 veterans, and it's $1,500 per veteran.
Wow.
So that's what I did with that project. But I got to tell you, with this movement, you know, not only does it help people to get that self-confidence and to realize that your hair doesn't have to be perfect, you just have to be present with your kids and to give them something to look back on. My mom passed away when I was 11, and we have like one photo of all of us together with her. And so that is huge. But also the fact of also getting in the mindset of helping others to do that. And that's amazing.
Yes, and it's also about the 100 dreams, because you know what's happening, Petrina, is now it's you know, initially everybody knows that I wanted to pivot online during COVID times and started to teach photography, and then I started to teach entrepreneurs, and my group name is going to change very soon. I can see it's called Photography for Mom Entrepreneurs. It's changing very soon. I don't know what it's going to be. But it was about teaching them so that, you know, even during COVID times, they had to come online and they needed pictures. So I could just help them. And the course is still coming up, but the course is totally changed and developed into a totally different course, which will be launched after the 100 interviews are done. But what this course was all about was something else, and what it's become is totally something else. And I realized that whichever mom has joined this or whoever is joining it, even in my personal space, some of the mothers that I'm helping, they are showing up. Like the minute they cross this line, they're showing up for their dreams, and they're showing up anyway. They're showing up, and they just need this one thing, that it's not so bad. We, like, all the chatter that we are doing about our face, our hair, our dark circles, our we being fat, everything, the minute they cross this with the self-portrait, and that's why I keep telling them this is not about selfies. And even the book is not going to be about selfies, not about just faces coming up, and then okay, this is Petrina, okay, this is Jamila, this is Renu. No, it's going to be, every page will have a story going through that one picture that's going to come up. And what does Petrina is all about, and that's the work, because nobody else is going to take that picture for you. You yourself are going to take to define yourself, that this is what I think, and that's what matters. Like, what do you think about yourself, and how do you want to show up, and how do you want to inspire? And that is going to be quite a work as well in these 100 days, because I'm not asking for just pictures. I'm asking every page to tell a story of who they are. And the minute you define it with a picture that, like, this is what I am and this is how I want to inspire, you just keep moving forward, and everything that was stopping you just like starts opening up. So the power of this project is just not getting to memories and saying that fine, right, I'll take a self-portrait. It's about why are we stopping ourselves. And the first step is like showing up in even pictures and even cameras, and then keep moving forward with whatever we are meant to do, because life is just like passing by. And I always say that the mothers are feeling this current. The minute they become moms, and it ends. What happens to all the moms? There are some moms who are crushing it, who feel very amazing. Definitely, but honestly, um, the research that I did for my course, I did not even find one. And I'm sure there are more mothers who are looking at it and say, fine, we are okay with it. I even, like moms, I said that on the surface we were feeling fine, but as a mom we were feeling very crushed, and we were feeling that's what the project is going to do. It's going to help moms to just cross over that one line that's stopping them from living their dream. And that dream could be anything. It could be actually working, not working, showing up for children, getting dressed every day, whatever it is. That's what it's helping them to do. And you've been such a, I tried to look for a song for you for my stories, and I just like put in transformation, because that's what I relate to you when I see your story, the whole transformation that you've done, what you're taking to the world, and how you're helping so many people. And look at, like you just said, that with my grandchildren I'm enjoying it more, and I have more of my health and more of my time around it. So let's talk about that and that journey that you did, and then how you're inspiring so many people through your work to go ahead. And then I will put your link as well to wherever you're available, or if your course is available, or your coaching session into the live. I'm still not so savvy to do it beforehand. I know when it gets posted, I edit it and put it. So whoever's watching, please support Petrina, because she's supporting so many women with this journey, and she's just going to talk about it. Yes, Petrina, go ahead.
Sure. So a few years back, I was very, very sick because of the food that I was eating. I was basically killing myself with the food that I was eating. I was, in a hurry. I was doing so many things. We have 5 children, and, I was running from place to place. I had 2 businesses and a full-time job. And so I was just eating whatever I could find. And I didn't realize the impact that that would have on my health.
Right.
My family have all had problems with heart attacks and strokes and high blood pressure. And I just ignored all the symptoms and the signs that my body was giving me. And so I was able to find a program that would help me to turn all of that around. And I was able to lose 90 pounds in 10 months. Wow. And change my health completely. And not only that, but change my mindset. And that's the big thing, is it's not about weight loss. It's about, are you able to change the habits that you have had your whole life? I mean, that's huge, because habits are what build our day, what build our health, what build our businesses. That's what fuels us. And so without those habits and changing those habits is, you have to have those things to have success. And so within a month of doing all of this, I realized this is what I want to do. This is what I want to help people to do. I want to help people get to that point of realizing, oh my gosh, that is why I'm eating this, or that's why I'm eating it at this time. I used to be a binge eater. So this is what I would do. I would go into Taco Bell and get 3 or 4 things. Then I'd go to Sonic, get 3 or 4 things. Then I'd go to McDonald's and get 3 or 4 things, sit in a parking lot and eat all of that at one time, hidden by myself, throw all of it away, all the wrappers away so that nobody would see me. And I understand not everyone does that, but that mindset of, I'm going to eat a whole gallon of ice cream tonight, that mindset is exactly what I was going through. And so to help people to get past that is what my system does. It's a company called Optavia. Absolutely amazing company. And I actually work with a lot of people outside of Optavia as well, but I also help people become health coaches. I help people to realize, I even wrote an ebook. It's on my website at bravethislife.com, that helps people to realize how scared they are, and they want to start this business. They want to go out and do it, but they just don't know what to do, what the next steps are to make that business happen. So I wrote that. And then also, with the business coaching, I help people to become a health coach. I've always wanted to be my own boss. always. That's why I became a photographer, a notary, all of those things. I wanted to be my own boss, set my own hours. And so with being a business coach, I teach people how to be a health coach so that they don't have to go to a day job. I was able to walk away from my day job December 31st, 2019, and I've absolutely loved every single day since, because I love being my own boss. I love that freedom, that time freedom. So, and throughout my journey, I've been able to help so many people, and I think that's key. I think that is so key, that you need to be able to find something that, one, you absolutely love with all your might,
Right.
and number two, serve others to get to their goals. And that's how you get to yours.
Right. And it's very inspiring, Petrina. And when you say that, I don't think so. Everybody does that. Everybody does something or the other, to put this whole feeling down. It's eating, it's hiding, it's talking, it's doing all sorts of things. And it's the most common thing that mothers find themselves doing. And it's amazing that you could like vulnerably say that this is what I used to do, and that itself is very inspiring, that you're being vulnerable and telling people that you did that and then you came out of it. Because we're not here to start like we're not like, these stories are coming not only to judge people that don't do that and it's not right and this is not good and this is what you get into. Like you just become
It's life.
something. Yeah, you just become something and then you don't even know what you've become. And that's where this whole project becomes, even more active, because you become something you don't know, or like you know or you don't know. And then, in today's world we have family groups and we have business groups we are part of, and then we have community, and then the events, and then this phone is there all the time trying to take pictures, and then there's selfies, and then we don't look nice, and then we just keep avoiding it, and we just keep scolding people, don't take my pictures, how dare you. And as I say, that the ripple effect is going on our children, because children have, and it happened to me in a class recently where I teach photography, and I told him that, okay, I think you always take your Lego pictures. Why don't you go take your mom's picture and come back for this assignment? And he said, she hates pictures. She doesn't like taking her pictures. So I was like, all right, why don't you take your own? Because so many kids are taking their own selfies and self portraits and coming back. And why don't you do that? Like, I don't like pictures. And like he's 8, 9 years old. So, that trickle down effect is happening, because I don't like pictures. What, at 8, 9? How does it matter what picture? Like, you should be just jumping and taking pictures and making funny faces and be okay with it. Like, where is this whole thing of? So
Well,
yes,
I think,
yeah.
oh,
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, our words are so important,
Yeah.
and what we speak, I think, and of course our children are hearing every single thing that we say, and if I could go back and teach my kids healthy habits, back then, it would be so much easier for them within their lives now. But, our words that we speak over everything that we say to ourselves, that we say around our children, are so, so important. And that's a perfect case of that.
And I must say this, and you'll find it interesting, because you're a photographer and I'm a photographer. And there's Melanie, who's going to be one of our champions, and I decided to announce her only on her birthday as a champion, because her birthday is coming, her 50th birthday is coming. And I was talking to her, and my son comes in and shows this black and white, like outlines of Godzilla and everything. And Melanie's, parents, they deal with parenting and stuff like that. And I, I was just telling her, yeah, he's amazing, because she said, look at these characters that he's done, and he's so amazing. And I was like, yeah, he's amazing, but for years he's just been doing pencil. Like, I tell him to use color, he doesn't, and I wonder why he doesn't do any color. And she's like, you really wondering? I was like, yeah, I'm wondering why. So I thought she'll come up with this thing of psychologically, maybe he feels that and everything. He's like, there's another person who loves black and white. And I was like, who is that? And she's like, you. And suddenly this whole thing joined, because I'm a black and white photographer. I raised him taking a lot of pictures of him black and white. I raised, you know, like like people ask me, why don't you do color? And I somehow keep saying, I love black and white. I don't know, just like, don't mind my black and whites. For 20 years, I've been doing black and whites. And without telling him, I've passed on his images of being black and white, and he loves that, right? And there might not be any psychological or any other underlining thing, but just my mom like likes black and white, I like black and white, and they're imitating you all the time. And then actually whatever you've been hearing theoretically, that your children like imitate you, and they, so I went out and I actually confirmed it. Like my husband Rohit, he just said, look at, you've done great, Shaurya, and look at so many colorful pictures of your mom. And she's like, no, not all are colorful. Look at that is black and white, that is black and white, that in black and white. And then what Melanie said got confirmed, that they're
Sure.
totally following what we are doing. They are our reflection. And if consciously, actually, early we can start understanding it, we can actually fix a lot of things, because our talking and everything. And this COVID time, they are with us all the time. Like earlier, they were going to school. Now they are with us all the time. And our frustration is everything that we are doing, from the whatever conversations we are doing, everything is like being downloaded. And someday it'll come us in a good or a bad way back to us, when they grow up, right? So, where can people find you, Petrina? What is your initiative called? What exactly do you do? And everyone, I mean, you have to go to Petrina's page to see the transformation she's done for herself. My God, like she's totally, like, totally a different person. And not internally, I'm sure she's just brought her internal Petrina out, but it's just amazing. I would love to be looking like her when I'm a grandmom, walking like her, living like her the way she does. And she lives in a beautiful place. Petrina, let's talk about that before we wrap up, and it should not exceed 30 minutes. That's what I generally put it into.
Sure, sure. So my website is www.therealpetrinaharris.com, and my name is PetrinaHarris. So it's therealpetrinaharris.com is my website. And then my Facebook is Petrina Harris, and that shows a lot of what I do as far as health coaching, and it does show my journey as far as my weight loss journey, my health journey. And so all of that is available there, and on my Instagram, which is The Real Petrina Harris. So all of those things, all those places you can find me. On my website, you can do a free health assessment so that we can chat. But those are ways that you can find me.
Lovely. And I'm wondering, why is it called The Real Petrina Harris? What's the the story behind that? I'm very inquisitive. That's why I'm asking.
So the reason for that was because, for the longest time, I felt like I was doing things for other people that weren't me. I was working somewhere that I didn't want to work. I was working there because somebody told me that I needed to work in IT. IT was not my thing. I was working there because somebody had told me that that's where the money was, and I needed to make money to pay for something for them. So that wasn't for me. I wanted to do my own thing. I wanted to be my own person and try to really realize, what do I even like? I didn't even realize what I even liked myself. And whenever I sat down actually with Brittany Alicia, and I sat down with her, and I realized what I truly wanted.
Right.
That's whenever I made that website.
Wow. That, because it does stand out, The Real Petrina Harris. And I think nobody will forget that. It's a very, it's just something really nice about that name. And Brittany is amazing. Like, she's helping so many people as well come up and make their dreams come true. And that's how we met, me and Petrina, in Brittany's coaching session. So Petrina, I'm so glad that you're on board, and there'll be little, like, you've already been doing self-portraits, but a lot of work will happen in the coming 100 days. Please go visit Petrina's website, and we're going to just keep joining. I was already telling her, with 6 announcement only, I'm feeling I'm talking a lot off screen as well. So I hope that my voice is retained by the time I launch the 100th woman on this next 100 days. Thank you, Petrina, for joining. Stick
You're
around,
welcome.
and I'm going to
Thank
just
you.
try and leave the meeting. And